What up, crypto fam? I'm taking a look at the market. It's Tuesday, April 5th, 2022, just before midnight. The market bled some today. We dipped as low as 40, 44.4. So we broke everybody said the 4,500 was the must hold. I disagree with a lot of that. I've drawn what I believe is the support levels, which we keep coming close to but not hitting, and we keep kind of ripping back up. So it may be trying multiple attempts at that 45K level that everybody's talking about. That said, it's holding support, which is a good thing, right? I maintain my bullish theory until the support here is broken through and closes below. If that happens, I will start to, a lot more risk off. I'm pretty risk off right now just because Bitcoin's in chop, and I I don't trade every hour. I don't stare at the markets. I keep alerts set up and swing trade. I don't really do any of the hardcore trading, and because of that, in these chop zones, I tend to sit on my hands and wait for a clear direction for Bitcoin to give a clear signal. That said, I would be a little bit more risk off even on some altcoins that have higher volumes where I expect a pump. If we break through and close below this support level, if we break this weekly trend line that's held since December 2020, if we break that, I'll start to look a little bit more bearish until we get to the 30K, 29K region. Until then, I have my sights set on us trying to push to this resistance level from the 48 to about 52K region. It's a big layer of resistance. I think there's quite a bit for us to chew through. So, yeah, with all that said, I'm still maintaining my bullish theories until it gets invalidated. And my invalidation zones are what I described. Closing below the support would be first invalidation. The second would be closing below this trend line. So pretty clear for me. It's a lot easier to take trades and to follow my plan just based off of what I can confirm or invalidate based off of my theory, based off of my charts. So this is the plan that I'm sticking to. Obviously, do your own research. This is how I see the market. This is how I'm planning for what's coming next for Bitcoin. I believe the macro strategy, I think they're calling him now. He made his Bitcoin purchases today. He's all into Bitcoin. A lot of people will claim, how is Bitcoin fully decentralized if he's buying so much of it? I hear the point, but the decentralization really comes into play when you're talking about anything that's proof of stake, not necessarily the proof of work. The only thing that someone having that much Bitcoin could do is hurt the market. If he sold or dumped all of his Bitcoin, which if you've seen any of Michael Saylor's tweets, that's not coming anytime in the near future. But it would take him, dumping all his Bitcoin or something like that for it to impact the market. As we continue to grow in adoption, though, that impact will be less and less as more and more hands will continue to hold Bitcoin in different parts of the world. So taking a look at the Fear and Greed Index, we sunk back to 48. We're still in neutral territory, but we did take a hit, probably due to the red in the market today. Even the S&P took its hit for a lot of their coins. So definitely in red territory. A lot of people are fearful of this type of thing. I tend to look for setups. When we approach support zones, I'm a buyer because that's where we get our bounce backs. That's where we get our recoveries from. So if I see a lot of volume, something approaching a support zone, I'm willing to take a little bit risk on. Obviously, I have tight stop losses in place, but for a tight stop loss for a possible 5 to 10% gain, I'm willing to take that bet every day of the week. That's how I trade, at least. Obviously, you do what you're comfortable with as far as what you can afford to lose if things do go sideways in the market, which they do in these types of markets. We'll get to the news that I found today. I found 3 decent articles. The last one is the one I'm most excited about, but we'll start with Bitcoin retail reaches second highest buying rate in history. Is it good or bad? Retail investors ramp up, and a chart that was posted to Twitter market analysis Will Clemente showed that retail investors are currently purchasing the cryptocurrency at the second highest rate in history. This is significant when looked at from the perspective of the last time retail buying surged past this point. However, it does not only spell good news from a historical point of view. So what this basically says is in 2018, when we had the peak of our last bull run, before everything came crashing down hard, we hit the peak of retail investment in Bitcoin. The retail generally takes a lot of the hits because the big investors are the ones that control a lot of the market share, and they have they have full teams of people, right, that do this for a living, and they're able to pump a lot of funds into it. They're able to control news cycles, things like this that just regular people just don't have the power to do. So I do get a little bit nervous when retail hits all-time high. That said, I think adoption is higher now than it's ever been, especially higher now than it was in 2018, which is why I'm not too panicked about this retail investor ramping up just yet. I think it's a warning sign. I'm not panicked about it. I'm not going to switch to bearish standpoint because of this type of article. I think it's something to watch out for. I think that we need to see a much higher rate of retail investment than we did in 2018 before I start to panic that the top's in. I don't think we're there yet. I think I have a plan in place in my head of when I'm going to start pulling out of the market, and I plan to do it, in a very kind of controlled manner, 25%, 25%, 25%, 20, and I'm going to leave 25%. I go back and forth between 25 and 30%, but there's a certain amount that I'll allocate that I'm just going to leave in the market just to do its thing. I'll never look at it, never touch it, not for at least the next 5 to 10 years. So I think this is bullish overall because I think our adoption rate's much higher now than it was in 2018, which I think skews some of the information that people will read when looking at this article. So that's just my 2 cents. The other article I found interesting is Scaramucci tends to agree with this channel. I don't know if you've watched other streams, but we're against how far behind the U.S. politicians are when it comes to cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. Scaramucci sees a bright future for crypto, but is very worried about U.S. politicians. Skybridge Capital founder Anthony Scaramucci believes that the blockchain industry has a very bright future, which it does, but he's concerned about how the very weak leadership in American politics. I couldn't agree more with that opinion. Scaramucci's a former director of communication at the White House, and Skybridge Capital manages the $7 billion Skybridge Bitcoin Fund. He spoke candidly at the Australian Financial Review Crypto Summit held in Australia today about the current and future states of crypto and politics in the U.S. He said that although blockchain tech seems clunky right now, he sees glittering future in the industry, which is, I've said it time and time again, we're very young in this, and we are, if you're watching this stream, watching this on YouTube, We are early. Book market, watch this again in 5 years. We are early. We haven't even scratched the surface of what how this is going to change the landscape of technology. You're going to start seeing blockchain on the internet. You're going to see a lot of blockchain type of databasing for multiple platforms. Imagine a Twitter where you can't delete your posts, where your posts live indefinitely, where things can't be manipulated, changed, undone. They're there forever, and they're public. The biggest fault in the new technology that we have, the web that we have today, is security was always an afterthought. We innovate, secure. With blockchain technology and public ledger, security's baked in. There's no going back, redoing. The reason that you see a lot of the quote-unquote hacks is people rushing to market, not understanding the technology, putting their own spin on it. It's generally their own spin that gets hacked, or people being careless about keys. I don't mean people in general, as in me and you, which that does happen, but as far as the companies that have exchanges have all these keys out in the open. It's not public information, but they are wallets that are accessible to the world, and the proper security requirements aren't always in place to make sure that those are secure. I'm much more excited about decentralized finance. I think DeFi is going to be, I think it's going to take over the financial industry. I think it's going to be a long, tedious, ugly, brutal fight. But I don't think they're going to have a leg to stand on. It may take 5-10 years, but I think we're going to get there, and I think everybody that's investing in any type of DeFi today is going to be reaping the rewards in 5 to 10 years. So, bookmark it, and we'll come back to it. I could be right. I think a lot of people in this market would agree with me, but I could be miserably wrong, and the government destroys everything. Who knows? But that's my opinion. The last news article that I found the most exciting, I don't know if anybody follows Mark Cuban, but he's an enormous Ethereum bull. I remember a short time ago, him and Charles Hoskinson had a back and forth, and he was all into Ethereum. I think Charles reached out to him and told him some solutions that Cardano offered, and Mark Cuban basically said, "Good luck, kid." Obviously, Cardano's done a ton since then. That said, Mark Cuban really understands a lot of technology. He's obviously, I think he makes more than the other 3 sharks on Shark Tanks combined. So, investing he's great at. This is the same guy that, invested in Netflix before COVID hit. When he started it's starting over in China, he invested in Netflix, and, he's reaping that benefit now. He's very good at getting in early on technology. Ethereum makes sense, especially with the quote-unquote big merge coming. So, as far as coding is concerned, I code for a living. I've been doing it for about 10 years now. So the reason that this is called a merge is when we have Git branches, there's a master branch that holds all the latest and greatest production code. When all the testing and coding is done, there's a freeze put on the development branch, and that branch eventually will be merged into master, where the current product today will be merged with the development code. And it's at that time that they'll move from proof of work to proof of stake. And when that happens, all the mining is going to be, donezo. There's not, a lot of the fees are going to be reduced because the mining is now in the hands of everybody that owns, I think it's 32 Bitcoin or something like that, you can have this staking. And yeah, it's the computational power will come from the masses instead of the few right now that are doing the hash rates and adding the blocks to the chain for Ethereum. That's why the costs are so high. You're fighting and you're competing to be first in line, to get put in a block. When that's decentralized to the world, where there's, you're talking about 100 times the CPU, when it's inclusive of everybody that owns Ethereum. So the fees should go down, the speed should go up. I mean, it's going to be win-win-win. A lot of people are very, very bullish on it, and it makes complete sense to me. I own Ethereum. I don't have the 32 yet. I think you need 32 for staking. I haven't acquired a 32 yet, but I've been gobbling up Ethereum since early 2017. So yeah, I got a good amount when it was down. I think about the $300 area. I picked up quite a few. So yeah, Ethereum is gonna be huge. It's obviously gonna be a big player in the market for a great deal of time. It's an incredible product. It was an incredible idea. Vitalik is a brilliant man. Charles Hoskinson obviously is super, super, super smart, and just the two of them created an incredible product. I have nothing bad to say about Ethereum except for their fees. God help their fees. It's embarrassing at times, but when the great merge happens, when they say it is, they expect summer of this year, so it'll probably be something like fall or winter of this year is my guess, if the past has any indication on this. But when it does happen, it'll be extremely bullish, and Ethereum, I think, has a lot of that great merge starting to be priced in. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to it. But I was really excited to see Mark Cuban being bullish on the merge, and why he says the upgrade is so important to cryptocurrency. So after the merge, Ethereum's crypto mining would become obsolete, which would substantially reduce the Ethereum environmental impact. The supply of new Ether would also likely decline because fewer coins are expected to be issued. Additionally, blockchain security against potential attack is supposed to improve, and institutional investment in the Ethereum network is expected to increase. 2 key updates post-merge, according to Cuban. First, he mentioned the importance of Ethereum going to proof of stake. Ethereum currently relies on what's known as proof of work, under which miners are completing complex puzzles to validate transactions. This process requires huge amounts of computational power. It is obviously it's criticized for its environmental impact. The government's not shy about that. It moving to proof of stake chains running in parallel, while both validators, only the proof of work chain currently processes users' quote unquote transactions. Once the merge is complete, Ethereum's blockchain will shift to fully proof of stake, called the beacon chain, making mining obsolete. Second, Cuban said he's interested in less Ether issuance after the merge, and how that will possibly make it deflationary. By this is referring to how the supply of Ether is also expected to decline post-merge because fewer coins are expected to be issued. So he thinks that's going to pump the price. So yeah, I'm in agreement with Mark. I think he's a brilliant guy, and I think he's done his homework on a lot of this. So yeah, that's the news that I have for today. I hope you enjoy the channel. If you wouldn't mind following, subscribing, giving a like, thumbs up. It really helps me out. Let me know this content is helpful, useful, watched. I'm going to keep pushing out new content. I'm hoping Bitcoin can get to a settling place where we can pick some more altcoins. We were doing pretty well. I think we're 3 for 4 on our altcoin picks, just in daily swing trades. when the market was doing okay, so I'm eager to get back to that. Until then, I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. I hope you have an amazing Wednesday, and I'll catch you in the next video. Till then, peace.